The command panel then is a new UI feature that basically alleviates the need to clutter up your UI. That is the mantra for this piece of content. As you can see, they talked about this on the live letter, how they're basically giving you 4 separate panels with 25 slots each. Currently in the game, the way to do this, obviously, if you're a PC player, is you have your hotbar set up, and instead of having additional hotbars, a lot of us put a lot of things on the side of our screen, cluttering things up. We can do our very best to minimize this. For example, I have got a show and a hide button that is using a fairly simple macro chain. If we go on here, I'll show you that. So essentially, you can hide certain hotbars and then show them. It basically is just a visual thing. And I use this switch to clean up my UI. A lot of other people create some quite advanced drop-down menus, so you can press a button and then, like for example with this, you press a button, it shows a menu, and then there's a drop-down that can be... There's a lot of contextualized pieces of macro content that can be done. The problem with that is it takes a lot of setup time to actually put that together. So the new UI feature, the command panel, is designed to alleviate that. In fact, they've gone to such extreme lengths to make it so that you can have buttons like I currently have with these macros, but built into the game to bring up the panel as well, even with arrows. As you can see in this picture, essentially you've got a open and a close menu for this panel. Of course, this is a UI element, so you'll be able to go through the menus to open it as well, and presumably set up a keyboard shortcut. But the idea that you can separate things like emotes off of your bar, I mean, it's less probably pertinent for people to use emotes on this. More, as we say, that anything that can ordinarily be placed on a hotbar, which includes, you know, macros, this includes emotes, this includes actions, this includes your class changes, you know, your actual gear sets themselves. Any of that stuff can be placed on those command panel windows. There's 25 slots per page, and there are 4 pages. Is that going to be enough? Probably not, right? Immediately on the live letter, people responded, can we have more spaces, please, on the command panel? I mean, they've got to have known that this is going to happen. Yoshi P's response immediately was, but then we'd have, it'd be too busy. It'd be too busy. There'd be too many of these things. So, you know, immediately people are going to be thinking for the future of how many jobs there are in the game and how many there will be in future expansions. Their emote panel, they can have one assigned to their most used emotes. And that's really what it is, the most used things. For example, for raiding, it'd be good to be able to have your food on there and then just completely turn the command panel off with a click of a button. Like I say, in the game, we're currently using, you know, show and hide buttons and things like that, and drop down menus for people who go into it for hours and hours and hours, setting up macros. This is just another way of adding to that. There's nothing saying you can't do both, though. But a command panel does look quite enticing. I'm quite excited about the idea of that being simplified, especially for like marks, putting marks on things, macros, countdowns, you know, timers for specific gathering nodes, things like that, food buffs, stuff that you wouldn't need to immediately press. So like your pot, you wouldn't want to put on there, for example, for raiding. You'd want to be able to press that, you know, to a keybind. And as far as we know, there's no like keybinds that you can set to the command panel itself, like the actual buttons on there. As far as I can tell, that wasn't talked about. But even so, just the idea of cleaning up your UI and having access to this on console as well, without having to type out complex macros or transferring UIs between PC and a PlayStation, for example. Having these built-in buttons allowing you to set up the command panel will be a huge quality of life change that people will probably take for granted very quickly. I do like that. I think it's a good feature, especially how, you know, in comparison to how people are currently dealing with it. And some people have stuff just basically everywhere on their screen. We're trying to avoid like those, you know, 2005 World of Warcraft screenshots where you know, you've got add-on bars filling your entire screen, that kind of thing. We're trying to step away from that, simplify things, and it is already a clean looking UI. but this cleans it up even further, and I can't wait. Another thing that's obviously coming in this is the strategy board. This is something that I've talked about at extreme length before. 7.4 shows that debut. It does look like in the screenshot that they showed during the 89th live letter that there's been some slight changes in terms of, I don't remember seeing all of the job bars on the side there being able to click and drag. They say they're actively working on this. They're trying to make it into something that you can customize as well. So there is a possibility that you might be able to actually annotate and draw on this in the future. But remember, these are things that you can share with other players. So these are things you can create in the game, much like you would if you were to tab out and go to Raid Plan, right? Or any other third-party website that people currently use to share strats for fights. This is in the game. So hopefully it's in-depth enough. There's like transparency things, you know, there's different pages so you can toggle between different phases of a fight. As long as it is clean, easy to use, and has plenty of features to make it look exactly how you want it to, in comparison to something you could ordinarily do simpler outside of the game, then they're onto a winner there. Really excited to see how that looks in the game and how it feels. And yeah, with 7.4, what a perfect time for that to come out with the new raid as well, with the Arcadians' final Savage tier, which is exciting. Additionally, there is one last mention, which is there's new UI color themes. They mention at least two here. We've got the clear green and clear white. In the game, you can currently change these, if you don't know, by going to System Configuration and then going to Theme Settings, which is this little bar here, and you can change between clear blue, classic FF, light, and dark, and then it will require you to restart your game to put this in. I've been using the clear blue. I think it's quite nice, quite simple, quite clean, but if you want something green or white, then you totally could do. Hopefully they add more themes in the future as well. I'd like to see a color wheel would be really cool, actually. So if you're wondering, this affects everything like your UI windows, you know, your inventory, your duty finder, all those things are affected, and depending on what color theme you go for. But yeah, super excited to see that again, but more excited for the bigger quality of life changes. And the biggest quality of life change is, of course, the Glamour one, which we've already talked about at great length on videos so far. I'm super excited for the Glamour update. You'll be able to create Glamours with no role or level restrictions, with probably a few minor exceptions, including that of weapons, right? So you were not able to place like a two-handed sword onto a fishing pole, that kind of thing. But beyond that, level restrictions should be omitted from that included, as well as on any job or class gear. So you'll be able to rock around doing combat stuff as a white mage with a dragoon set of armor, or as a crafter set of armor. So that really does unlock quite a lot, but we've talked about that quite a bit. But yeah, really excited about the finer quality of life changes, some probably not mentioned here, and really excited about the command panel. Panel is going to be great for RP, but for people for raiding, anything that you can think of, just having extra space to put something that you know, frequently use, but you don't want on a screen all the time, such as markers and things like that. Maybe your teleportations between things. That'd probably be really, really useful. So yeah, let me know what you think about these features, which you're most excited for, aside from a Glamour update. And I'll see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching. More videos on the way. And yeah, we're coming up close to another update, aren't we? So see you soon. Bye-bye.